Factoring out a monomial from a polynomial multivariate. We've been talking about finding the greatest common factor, and we said we'd be doing something with it later. Well, guess what? Later came. So first we've got to find the greatest common factor between these two numbers. So remember that's looking for the greatest number that can divide into both, and we're looking for, they both have to have the same letters, and we pick the one with the smaller exponent. Okay, so looking between 24 and 18, the biggest number that can divide into both is going to be 6. I'm going to kind of write it right here. 6, and they both have a V, and the smallest of the V's is going to be 2. They both have a W, and the smallest exponent in this case again is 2. So now that we've found that greatest common factor, I want to kind of give you an example to kind of help you understand what we're doing. With factoring, really what we're doing is it's a fancy word for division. Okay? Now, hypothetically, when you get paid, the ideal situation, I know this doesn't happen for everybody, but the ideal situation is that as soon as you get your paycheck, you take some of that money and you put it into savings. Okay? Now, that money isn't gone, is it? I mean, it still exists. It's just kind of set aside. Okay, so I want you to kind of keep that in mind as we're doing this. So what we're going to be doing is, now that we've found the greatest common factor, we're going to divide the greatest common factor from each term. Notice I'm including the negative with this term. And here's where those rules of exponents, still come into play. So when we divide it, we kind of set the greatest common factor. Let's say that this is our money from our savings account. We're taking that out. We're setting it aside. So whatever's left over, we're going to put inside a set of parentheses. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. This V cancels this V. This W cancels this W, because remember 2 minus 2 is 0. So the only thing you have left here is x to the 4th. Now we go to the next term. Negative 18 divided by 6 is a negative 3. And remember, when we're dividing exponents, we're actually subtracting them, right? So we've got V, 9 minus 2 is 7. And 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, so this is, if you want to think of it, this is our money in our savings account, and this is the remainder of our check. Okay, so when we're factoring, we don't want to leave anything out. We want to include all of the money that we got, but we're kind of showing how it's divided or factored out. So in this case, this whole entire thing is your answer. Again, you're going to want to be very careful as you're entering this into ALEKS that after each exponent that you're pressing that right arrow key. Okay, so you'll have right arrow key here, right arrow key here. You'll press it here, after the 7, and after the 4. Okay, just so that way you don't have it, because you definitely don't want it all as an exponent, or ALEKS will tell you no, and we don't like when ALEKS tells us no.